Hello there, this is DB James from Perfect English once again, and today I'm going to talk to you about the future tenses. The future tenses are much easier than the present or the past tenses. They're easier to form and they're easier to use. And today I'm going to try and explain how you can differentiate between the 5 different future tenses. Yes, you heard me right. There are 5 different future tenses. And that's because going to also counts as a future tense. So, let's get started. We're going to start with going to. So we use going to announce an intention. That means we let other people know what their next step is going to be. What will happen next. For example, if somebody is in class and he or she is talking to their classmates, then one of their classmates might ask them this question. What are you going to do after class? If you hear a question addressed to you and you hear the words going to, that automatically means that you have to reply using going to as well. So a correct reply to that question might be something like, after class, I'm going to have dinner. Or, after class, I'm going to meet a friend for a drink. Or, after class, I'm going to work out in a gym. Or, after class, I'm going to go home. So when you hear a question with going to, you reply using going to as well. And also when you want to tell other people what you intend to do, then you use going to. So what about you watching us from over there? What are you going to do after watching this video? I bet you're going to study some English. Or maybe you're going to click the like button if you like the video. Okay then, so let us move right along. Now, the next tense is of course future simple, which is a piece of cake. It's super easy to form and super easy to use. We form the future simple using the auxiliary verb will, followed by the bare infinitive of the main verb. And we use it for different kinds of things, but the most important uses are, first of all, to make a decision. When somebody wants to know if we're going to do something or not. Okay, so for example, let's say we've gone shopping. We are in a shop right now and we're looking at the dress. A lady is looking at the dress. So the store clerk asks her, okay then, will you buy that dress or not? The moment the lady has made up her mind and she announces her decision, she's going to say, yes, I will buy it. Or, no, I'm afraid I will not buy it. So let's say a friend of yours wants to know what you will be doing tonight. And then they might ask you a question like, will you stay home or will you go out tonight? You see, they're giving you 2 options here, staying home or going out. And you might reply by saying, well, I will stay home. Okay. Similar to this one is choosing an option. Okay, so let's have a look at some examples. Somebody asks you, will you go to New York City or London for Christmas? You see, now you have 2 options, New York City or London. Okay, when you make up your mind, you announce which option you've chosen by using will. So you might say, I will go to London. Or another question that you might hear is, will you have meat or fish tonight? Okay, and you reply using will. I will have meat tonight. Or another question you might hear is, will you watch television or surf the internet tonight? Okay, and you choose one of these 2 options using will. So you might say, I will surf the internet tonight. Finally, the future symbol is also used to make a prediction. At the time of this video, the American elections were coming up. So, a very common question to hear, even in our neck of the woods, which is Athens, Greece, by the way, is who will win the elections? So, the person who's asking you that question, they're basically asking you to predict who the winner of the American elections will be this year. So, you might say something like, Hillary Clinton will win the elections. I hope my prediction is accurate. Okay then, let us move on to one more tense. And the situation becomes a little bit more complicated now. the tenses become a bit more complex. The next tense is the future continuous. We form the future continuous using will, be, and the ing form of the verb. So we need 3 words to form the future continuous. We use the future continuous to emphasize the duration of a future action. And oftentimes, one of the indicators that we need to use the future continuous is the so-called time markers. Words like for, all, or until. Here are some examples. I will be studying all day tomorrow. Or I will be studying all evening tonight. You see that in both of these cases we have the word all. And because all shows duration, that something will last the entire time, we use the future continuous. Another example would be, she will be working for 9 hours on Monday. Again, we have the time marker for, and in that case we use the future continuous. Or let's say, we will be having a lesson until 10:10 tonight, 10 minutes past 10 tonight. Again, because the lesson will last for a certain amount of time, we use the future continuous. Another use of the future continuous is for a future action which will be in progress at a specific time in the future. And when we say in progress, we mean that this future action will not be finished yet. And oftentimes we use the future continuous with the expressions this time tomorrow, this time next week, this time next month, this time next year. Here's an example. Somebody asks you, what will you be doing this time tomorrow? Because you hear the set phrase this time tomorrow, you reply using the future continuous. So you answer to them, this time tomorrow I will be having coffee with friends. Or, this time tomorrow I will be studying English. There's a B missing here, sorry about that. Or, this time tomorrow I will be making dinner. Or, this time tomorrow I will be working in the garden. Okay, or a similar question would be, if somebody wants to know what you will be doing this time next year. Of course, that's much more difficult to answer because very few people know what they will be doing this time next year. But let's say somebody asks you this particular question, what will you be doing this time next year? Okay, so you reply by saying, I hope that this time next year I will be traveling around the world. That's a nice thing to be doing in a year from now, isn't it? Or, this time next year I will be watching the movie festival in Salonika. Or, if you're being very hopeful, this time next year I will be speaking absolutely fluent English. Alright then, so let us move on to the last 2 tenses, and that's the future perfect simple, first of all, which we form by using will and the word have, and finally the past participle of the main verb. And we use the future perfect simple with a time marker by or by the time. We use the future perfect symbol to refer to a finished activity at some future point. So here are some examples. By the end of 2017, I will have mastered the English language. What about you? What will you have accomplished by the end of 2017? You see, by the end of 2017 is a future point. Okay, and before the end of that future point, something will have happened. For example, if you are a university student, will you have graduated from university by 2017, or maybe by 2018, or by 2019? Here's another example. By the time I finish watching this video, I will have learned how to use the future tenses. Okay, hopefully that's what will have happened by the end of this video. At least that's my wish for you. And we round things out by explaining the uses of the future perfect continuous, which is not a particularly difficult tense, but we need a lot of words to form it. We need 4 words to form this tense. That's will, followed by have, followed by been, followed by the ing form of the main verb. And we use it with the exact same time markers that we use for the future perfect simple, which is by and by the time. But this time, we use it to refer to an unfinished activity at some future point. You might remember that for the future perfect symbol, we use it to refer to a finished activity. Whereas with the future perfect continuous, we use it to refer to the exact opposite, something which will not have finished at some future point. So, going back to the previous examples, by the end of 2017, I will have been studying Chinese for a year and a half. Let's say that you took up Chinese a year and a half ago. That means that your studying Chinese will continue beyond 2017. Okay, that you will continue to study Chinese beyond that year. Another example would be, in my case, I'm working on a novel. So by the end of 2017, I will have been working on my novel for a year. That means that I will continue to be working on my novel beyond the end of 2017. Okay, so we use the future perfect continuous to refer to an activity which has a certain duration but will continue beyond the specified time. Okay. Well, that's all for today. I hope that helped you to learn the uses and the formation of future tenses. See you again in the future. Bye bye.